Gurudev, Krpa Bindu Diya, Guru Irasi, Tritsa Adina, Sakala Shahani, Baladiya Kura, Nijamani Sriya Hina. Sakala Shahani, Baladiya Kura, Nijamani Sriya Hina. Gurudev, Sakali Samana, Kalki Sakati, Rihunataya Tujata. Tabdugayo, Hare Rama Sukhe, Aparadiya Nata. Gurudev, Kabina Kripa, Lavya Yuchana, Kirtata, Devinata. Satibuddhihina, Amiyati Dina, Kuramori Atmasata. Gurudev, Jujata Vichari, Kitsunani Pai, Domarakaro Sara. Karana Rahule, Kanya Kantiya, Vanana Reki Vara. Karana Rahule, Kanya Kantiya, Vanana Reki Vara. Gurudev, Kripa Bindu Kuri Rasi, Tira Pichuratira. Sakala Sahari, Baladiya Koran, Nijamani Sriya Sakala Sahani, Baladiya Karo, Nijamani Sriya. Gurudev, give me a drop of mercy. Make the servant more humble than blade of grass. Give me strength to tolerate all eventualities. Let me not hanker for my own honor and fame. Give me the power to honor all living entities according to what they are due. All Vaishnavas are befitting the platform, that I will be able to chant the holy names blissfully, and all my offenses will be repancus. O my Master, when will I be benedicted with your mercy and finally be successful in my life? I am so fallen that I have no strength or intelligence. Can you take my soul and make me like you? If I examine myself, if I examine myself, I find no good qualities. Your mercy is the essence of my existence. If you are not merciful, then bitterly weeping, I will no longer maintain my life. So, in the temple, we used to sing this or to pray this every morning for the mercy of our Gurudev. Srila Prabhupada is one of the topmost devotee of Bhakti Siddhanta. So he was requested by Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj to spread out the Krishna consciousness all over the world or in the Western countries. So with him, by Srila Prabhupada, we meet this Krishna consciousness movement from the late 1970s, somewhere in Mandawi. A lot of devotees gathered and was able to chant holy name, take prasad, live in the temple, and improve their spiritual life due to the mercy of His divine grace as He Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And here we like to read also this book, a little bit, some lines of this. The Golden Avatar Teachings of Lord Chaitanya by His divine grace is the Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So here, I'm sorry, but I have to read this part. Pure love for Krishna. Okay, encouraged by Lord Chaitanya. To proceed further, Ramananda Rai said that the fraternal relationship with Lord Krishna is one on an even higher transcendental plane. In this way, Ramananda Rai points out that when the relationship with Krishna increases in affection, the mood of fear and the consciousness of the superiority of the Supreme Lord diminish. At this point, the mood of faith increases, and this faith is called friendship. In the fraternal relationship, there is a sense of equality between Krishna and his friends. In this regard, Ramananda Raya quoted the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam in which Sukadev Goswami described Lord Krishna's lunch with his devotees, friends in the forest. Krishna and his friends went to the forest to play with the cows, and it is said that the boys who accompanied Krishna enjoyed transcendental friendship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is considered to be the impersonal Brahman by great sages, the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the devotees, and an ordinary human being by common men. Lord Chaitanya appreciated this statement very much, yet he said, you can go even further. Being so requested, Ramananda Rai then stated that the paternal relationship with Krishna is still higher transcendental position. When the affection of the fraternal relationship increases, it develops into a paternal relationship that is found between father and son. Regarding this, Ramananda Rai quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, where Maharaj Pariksit inquired from Sukadev Goswami about the magnitude of righteous activity performed by Yasoda, the mother of Krishna, enabling her to be called mother, and her breast be sucked by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He also quoted another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, in which it is stated that Yasoda received such incomparable mercy from the Supreme Personality of Godhead that it cannot even be compared to the mercy received by Brahma, the first created living being, or by Lord Shiva, or even by the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, who is always situated on the chest of Lord Vishnu. Lord Chaitanya then asked Ramachandra Rai to proceed further in order to come to the point of conjugal love. Understanding the mind of Lord Chaitanya, Ramananda Raya immediately answered that it was indeed conjugal love with Krishna that constituted the highest relationship. In other words, intimate relationships with Krishna develop from ordinary conception of the Supreme Personality Godhead to the conception of master and servant, and when this becomes confidential, it develops into friendly relationship. And when this relationship further develops, it becomes paternal. And when it's this developed to the highest point of love and affection, it is known as conjugal love with the Supreme Lord. Ramananda Rai quoted another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam stating that the transcendental mood of ecstasy exhibited during the rasa dance between the gopis and Krishna was never realized, even by the goddess of fortune, who is always situated in the chest of the Lord in the spiritual kingdom. And what to speak of the experience of ordinary women. Ramananda Rai then explained the gradual process which pure love for Krishna is developed. He pointed out that the living entity is related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and one the relationship just suitable for him. Actually, relationship with the Supreme Lord began with the master and servant relationship, and further developed into friendship, paternal love, and conjugal love. One who attains his particular relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead should be known to be the best relationship for him. But when this transcendental relationship is studied, it can be seen that the neutral stage of realization, Brahma Bhuta, is the first when one accepts the Lord as master and himself as servant. Relationship develops, and it develops further when one becomes a friend of the Supreme Lord. And yet, still further when one becomes a father. Thus, the relationship advances from friendship to parental love and finally to conjugal love, which is the supreme relationship with the Lord. Self realization is the realization as servitor is certainly transcendental, and when a sense of fraternity is added, the relationship develops. Affection increases, the relationship develops into paternity and conjugal love. Ramananda Rai quoted the verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, stating the spiritual affection of the Supreme Lord is transcendental in all cases, but the individual devotees has a specific aptitude for a particular relationship, and that relationship is more releasable for him than the others. So transcendental relationship with the Supreme Lord cannot be manufactured by the mental concoctions of pseudo devotees. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami has stated that devotional service that makes one no reference to Vedic scripture or Vedic literature and that does not follow the principles set forth herein that can never be approved. Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj has also remarked that professional Bhagavatam reciters, professional kirtan performers, and those engaged in self-concocted devotional service cannot be accepted. In India, there are various professional communities known as Aula, Vaula, Kartaba, Nida Daravisa, Shnai Atibadi, Kudahari, and Gauranga Nagari, a member of the Venture Goswami Society or the caste of Goswami, cannot be accepted as a descendant of the six original Goswami, nor can so-called devotees who manufacture songs about Lord Chaitanya, nor those who are professional priests or paid reciters be accepted. One who does not follow the principles of Pancharatra One who is an impersonalist or addicted to sex life cannot be compared with those who have dedicated their lives to the service of Krishna. A pure devotee is always engaged in Krishna consciousness can sacrifice everything for the service of the Lord. One who has dedicated his life to the service of the Lord Chaitanya, Krishna, the spiritual master, or a person who is following the principles of householder life, as well as one following the principles of the pronounced life in order to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a devotee and cannot be compared to professional men. Supreme perfection. Concerning the transcendental pastimes of Radha and Krishna. The difference between executing ordinary religious activities and devotional service is very great. By executing religious rituals, one can achieve economic development, sense gratification, or liberation, merging into the existence of the Supreme. But the result of transcendental devotional service are completely different from just temporary benefits. Devotional service of the Lord is evergreen, and it is increasingly transcendently pleasing. Thus, there is a gulf of difference between the results derived from devotional service and those derived from religious rituals. The great spiritual energy known as Jadadrishtras or Mahamaya, the, the superintendent of the material world, and the material departmental directors, the demigods, as well as the products of the external energy of the Supreme Lord, are but perverted reflection of the opulence of the Supreme Lord. The demigods are actually order careers of the Supreme Lord, and they are helping managing their creation. In Brahma Samhita is stated that the working of the supremely powerful super, superintendent Durga are but shadowy indications of the workings of the Supreme Lord. The sun works just like the eyes of the Supreme Lord, and Brahma works just the reflected light of the Supreme Lord. Thus, all the demigods, as well as the external energy herself, Durga Devi, and all the different department directors are but servants of the Supreme Lord in the material world. In the spiritual world, there are another energy, the superior spiritual energy or internal energy, which acts under the directions of Yogamaya. Yogamaya is the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. She also works under the Lord's direction, but she works in the spiritual world. When the living entity puts himself under the directions of Yogamaya instead of Mahamaya, he gradually becomes a devotee of Krishna. Yet, those who are after material opulence and material happiness place themselves under the care of material energy, Mahamaya, or under the care of material demigods like Lord Shiva and others. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is found that when the gopis of Vrindavan desire Krishna as their husband, they prayed for the spiritual energy, Yoga Maya, for the fulfillment of their desire. In the Sapta Sati, it is found that King Surata and the merchant named Samari worship Mahamaya for material offerings, as one should not mistakenly equalize Yogamaya and Mahamaya. Because the Lord is on the absolute platform, There is no difference between the holy name and the Lord and Supreme Lord Himself. There are different names, of the Supreme Lord, and these names have different purpose and meanings. For instance, He is known as Paramatma, the Super Soul, Brahman, the Supreme Absolute, or Rukmini, Gopinath, the enjoyer of the gopis, and Krishna in this way. The Lord has different names, and these names indicate different functions. The aspect of the Supreme Lord is the creator of different forms and aspects of the Lord as Narayana or Narayan. Some of the names Lord as the creator as conceived by materialistic men. One cannot fully realize the essence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by understanding the name of the Creator because this material creation is a function of the external energy of the Supreme Lord. Thus, the conception of God as the Creator includes only the external features. Similarly, when we call the Supreme Lord Brahman, we cannot have any understanding of six opulence of the Supreme Lord in Brahman realization. The six opulences are not realized in full. Therefore, Brahman realization is not complete under the standing of the Supreme Lord, neither in Paramatma realization and of the Super Soul, full realization of the Supreme Personality of God. For the all-pervading nature, the Supreme Lord is but a partial representation of His opulence. Transcendental pastime. Although Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, embodies super excellence and beauty, when it's amongst the damsels of Braja is known as Gopi Jana Balaka. The devotees cannot realize the beauty of the Supreme Lord more than the damsels of Braja. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is confirmed that although Krishna, the son of Devaki, is the last word with super excellence and beauty, when he amongst the gopis, it appears that he is the sublime jewel except the highest realization of the Supreme Lord. As conjugal love, he nevertheless requested Ramananda to proceed further. Upon hearing the request, Ramananda Roy remarked that this was the first time he had been asked to go further, and the gopis in the attempt to understand Krishna. There is a certainly transcendental intimacy between the damsels of Braja and Krishna.